You spend your whole life building something, only to find out you're the one who's in the way. Dead weight, that's what I heard. In those exact words. 58 years of life, 36 married, 2 kids raised, a company I literally built from the mud, just to be dead weight at the end of my life. And the worst part, it wasn't a stranger who said it, not a competitor. It was my daughter, Amanda. The mother of my grandson Leo, the boy who, just that same week, had given me a drawing from school, a drawing of me with a cape. He said, "Grandpa, you're my hero." From hero to dead weight in 3 days. That's my story. And look, I need to tell it, because maybe you, listening to me right now, are going through something similar, and you don't even know it yet. My name is George. I'm 58. I live here in Denver, a city I love, that I watched grow up. And I helped build it, literally. I am, or rather I was, the owner of a construction supply distributor. It's no giant, but it was mine, honest, the kind of shop the contractor trusts, where the small-time engineer knows they'll find what they need. I founded it, alone. I started by selling cement and sand from the bed of an old pickup truck, going door to door. Today, it was 12 employees, 5 trucks, a warehouse. It was my life, and I built it all. Or at least I thought I had. For them, for my family. I'm married to Lucy. 36 years, a lifetime. It's not easy, no, but it was my life. We had 2 kids, Rick, the oldest, in his early 30s, and Amanda, the youngest. And now, the light of my life, my grandson, Leo, Amanda's son, 7 years old. Like I said, Leo sees me as a hero. And I saw my kids as my legacy. Lucy, my wife, she changed. After the kids left home, she found herself at the country club. Her life became that. Tea with friends, bridge, gossip, and travel. Her obsession was travel. Oh, George, so-and-so went to Sicily. Oh, George, what's-her-name's husband bought her a cruise. And there I was, at the distributorship, under the hot sun, checking cargo, paying bills. I never complained, truly. I thought it was my role. My role was to provide. Hers was to spend, right? At least that's how it had been for the last 10 years. And the kids. Well, I brought the kids into the company, thought it was the right thing to do. Prepare the succession, as they say. Rick got a business degree. I made him general manager, gave him an office, a company car, a director's salary. Amanda helps in finance. That helps is the nice way of saying she has a $12,000 a month salary to show up at 10, leave at 4, and spend all day on the phone handling personal problems. But they're my kids. What's a father to do, right? We let it slide, we looked the other way, we're stupid, but things started to get strange. It wasn't overnight, it was slow, subtle. First, it was Rick. He started treating me differently. It wasn't Dad anymore. It was George, and in a tone like he was the boss. I'd show up at the company I founded, try to give some input on a big purchase. He'd cut me off in front of the employees. "Dad, this spreadsheet is wrong. Dad, nobody does it this way anymore. The system is different. Dad, just leave the strategy part to me, okay? The system I paid for. I, who built that place with carbon copy invoices, who knew every customer by name. Now I was the old man who didn't understand the system. I'd swallow it down. It's the new blood, I thought. It's just his way. But it hurt. It was veiled disrespect. A slow burn. Then, Amanda. She was always complaining. The $12,000 salary wasn't enough for anything, always asking me for an advance. "Dad, the credit card is maxed out. Dad, my car insurance." Her car insurance, which I still paid. And I'd pay. And I'd hear her on the phone, in her office, laughing, gossiping with her friends, complaining about me. Dad's being so cheap. Me, cheap. But the day it all clicked, the day I saw it wasn't just my imagination. That was the dead weight day. I was on the porch at home. It was a Thursday, early, around 9 in the morning. I'd woken up with a bad back, the age, I was having my coffee quietly, Amanda hadn't gone to work yet. She was in the living room, talking on the phone with Rick. She didn't see me. The sliding glass door was closed, but the window was open, and I heard her voice, clear as day. "Rick, Dad is just dead weight." I froze. "He won't just decide on this succession. He's in the way. We need to do something. He's old. He doesn't get it anymore. Dead weight. Me, Leo's hero. The man who founded that. I was a burden." In that moment, the coffee turned bitter in my mouth. My hand was shaking. It wasn't anger. It was an emptiness, a chill down my spine. It was disappointment, deep, my daughter, talking about me, like I was a piece of old furniture, just waiting for me to die. I know this story is starting heavy, and look, stay with me, because what comes next is going to surprise you. Stories like mine, they happen every single day, and that's why I really like following this channel here. It's a place where we can vent, tell what happened, no filter, no shame. It's a space for us to see that we're not alone in these fights, these disappointments. So, if you're new here, do what I do, subscribe, follow the stories, because hearing other people's stories often helps us understand our own. Thanks to the channel folks for letting me tell this. Stick around because the story is just beginning. After that day on the porch, I changed. Inside, on the outside, I was the same George, the tired old man. But inside, I started to observe silently. And what I saw only made it worse. Things escalated quickly. I went to the company the following Monday. Rick was in my office, mine, with his feet up on my desk, a mahogany desk which I bought in 1995. He was on the phone, laughing. "Dad, we'll talk later. I'm in a meeting." I looked at the chair, where I sat for 30 years. It was his now. I turned around, went to my old office, the smaller one, which they had turned into the archive room. I sat there, the smell of old paper. I looked at the numbers, and what I saw made me sick. I saw that Rick had made a purchase, a huge purchase, unnecessary. He'd bought an entire lot of imported porcelain tile from Spain. Very expensive stuff that doesn't move. The price inflated. I knew the supplier, a new guy on the market. I went to talk to him. I waited for his meeting to end. "Rick, this purchase here, it's not right. The supplier is new, the price is high. We don't have the clientele for this. This is going to sit in inventory." He looked at me with pity for his own father. "Dad, you don't understand branding. We need to elevate the brand. Just leave the strategy part to me, okay? Go grab a coffee. Get some rest." Strategy. He was going to bankrupt the company I built, and he sent me to get coffee like I was a visitor, a nuisance. And at home, Lucy, she was in on it. I realized she was complicit. I'd come home, tired. Not tired from work, but tired of them. I tried to talk to her. "Lucy, Rick is spending too much. He won't listen to me. He's going to bankrupt us." And what would she say? "Oh, George, let the boy work. You have to trust him. So-and-so from the club already handed everything over to his kids and he's traveling the world. See the comparison. Always the comparison. I wasn't so-and-so. I was the brakes, the old man, the dead weight." One day I got home, around 10 at night. I had gone to fix a problem with one of the trucks that broke down on the interstate. I was soaked from the rain, tired, hungry. I got home, dark, silent, went to the kitchen. No dinner. Lucy had gone out with her friends. The housekeeper had already left. I opened the fridge. There was light and an egg. Me, at 58, owner of a company, having to make a fried egg for dinner, alone, in the kitchen where I paid for every tile. I ate standing up at the sink. And just then I heard the front door. Lucy arriving, laughing, drunk, with 2 friends. They walked past me in the kitchen. "Ugh, George, what's that smell of fried egg? Gross!" And they went upstairs, laughing. Not even a good night. The contempt, it became explicit. It wasn't veiled anymore. But the worst humiliation, the one they put me through, was in front of my grandson. That is unforgivable. Saturday, day to take Leo for ice cream. I always do that. It's our day. Amanda dropped him off at the house. Dad, take care of him, okay? And try not to give him too much sugar. As if I were an idiot. Leo and I went, happy as could be. On the way back, we stopped by the company. I needed to grab a document I had forgotten in the archive room. We got there, the front door locked. Saturday morning we always opened. I went around back. The warehouse gate was open. Rick was there, with two guys I didn't know. Rick? What's going? He saw me, with Leo. His face hardened, instantly. Dad, what are you doing here? We're doing inventory today. We're closed. I said, inventory? But you didn't tell me. I'm the owner of this place. And then he let it rip. In front of my grandson, in front of the employees who were there. You're not anything anymore. You're just a partner who doesn't call the shots. Now please, get the kid out of here. You're interrupting the work. I froze. Leo, my grandson. Leo looked at me. That look of confusion. His hero, being kicked out, being called nothing. I took Leo's hand. My hand was cold. I didn't say a word. I wasn't going to make a scene for him. I turned my back, and I left. When I got in the car, Leo asked with that little voice, Grandpa, why did Uncle Rick talk to you like that? What was I going to say? What could I answer? I just started the car and drove. But then, guess what? They thought they could go further. They decided to formalize my uselessness. The final straw was last week. They called me for a meeting. In my own office. It was a Tuesday. Lucy woke me up, which was already strange. George, get up. Rick and Amanda want to have a meeting with us. At the company, at 10. A meeting with me? They hadn't spoken to me, only at me in weeks. Something was very wrong. I went. I got there, to my own office. The office Rick had taken for himself. Picture the scene. Me, the founder, the owner, sitting in the visitor's chair. At the head of the table, Rick. On one side, Amanda, scrolling on her phone. And on the other side, my wife, Lucy. The three of them, lined up, like a tribunal. Rick started. That fake corporate movie executive tone of his. Dad, we called you here because we're worried about you. Worried. You've been tired, forgetful. You've worked enough. It's time to rest, Amanda added without looking up from her phone. Yeah, Dad, we want what's best for you. We want you to enjoy life. Go travel with Mom. And Lucy, quiet, staring at the table, nodding her head. I just listened. Rick then pushed a paper towards me. A binder. The kind from a lawyer's office. We spoke with the company's lawyer, and this is the best solution for everyone. I opened it. I read the title. Contract of gifting of shares with lifelong usufruct. Gifting. I was going to gift the company I founded, my life's work. I read the clauses in exchange for a usufruct, an allowance. I looked for the amount. $8,000. They valued me at $8,000 a month to hand over my assets. My legacy, $8,000. Amanda makes 12 and thinks it's not enough. Dad, it's a fair amount, Rick said. You'll be able to live well, without worries. We'll take on the debt, take on the stress. I looked at Lucy. This was the moment I needed her, 36 years. I looked her in the eyes. Lucy! And she looked away. She looked at her purse, looked out the window. She looked anywhere but at me. In that silence, I understood everything. It wasn't worry. It was greed. It was impatience. They wanted what I had built, but they didn't want to wait for me to die. They wanted it now, and my wife, my woman, was with them. She wanted that trip to Sicily, and I was the obstacle. I was the dead weight that had to get out of the way. I didn't shout. I didn't curse. I closed the binder, slowly. The sound of the zipper sounded like a gunshot in the silent room. I looked at the three of them, one by one. I stood up. I took the binder and said only one thing. I'll read it. And I walked out of the office. It was the longest walk of my life, from the office to my car. My leg was shaking, not from fear, from clarity. Do you know what went through my head as I drove away from there? It wasn't the money, it wasn't the company, it was the memories, the things that they forgot. I remembered like it was today, my '88 Buick Regal, metallic blue, my first good car. I loved that car. And then the first rent on the first warehouse. The landlord wanted 3 months up front. I didn't have it. I looked at the Buick, and I looked at Lucy, who was holding Rick in her lap, a baby. I sold the Buick the next day for a fraction of what it was worth to pay the rent. I never had a car I loved that much again, but I did it for them and Rick. Rick, who today sits in my chair and thinks I'm a burden. I remembered him, little, 4, 5 years old. We were in the first warehouse. It was small, damp. We didn't have money for a babysitter. Lucy helped label the boxes. And Rick, he would sleep. He'd sleep on an old little mattress in the corner of the warehouse on top of bags of mortar. He grew up there, watching his father and mother work from Sunday to Sunday, eating cold lunches from a container. How did that boy forget that? How did he forget the smell of cement? How did he forget his father coming home with his hands cut up from carrying rebar? They didn't forget. No, they chose to forget because it was convenient. The tired old dad is easier to discard than the dad who built everything. But here comes the good part. What they didn't know is that I got tired before they did. What they didn't know is that the George they see, the old man in the old polo shirt, isn't the whole George. Because look, after so many years of seeing things, you learn, watching how Rick was aggressive in business. And aggressive is the nice way of saying reckless, a big spender. Watching how Amanda was relaxed with money, and relaxed is the nice way of saying irresponsible. Watching how Lucy was more and more distant, more and more materialistic. I prepared myself, silently. 15 years ago. 15, I opened a private retirement fund, separate from the company. My own thing, personal account. Every month I put some money in there. A little at first, more later. It was my what if, my plan B, George's money, not the company owner's money. I never touched that money, never. I never even told Lucy about it. Today, I looked at the statement on my phone, right there in the car. There's $650,000 in there, $650,000 that they don't even dream exists. And there's more. My mother. Before she died, she left me a small condo over in Georgetown. Small thing, but it's mine. It's in my name. It's rented out to students. A little money trickles in every month. They don't even remember it. They think I sold it years ago. And the house we live in, the $1.5 million house that Lucy loves to throw parties in, is in my name. Only mine. And the company, well, the company, despite Rick thinking he was the boss, was also 100% in my name. They gave me a paper to gift it. They were amateurs, and that was it. I decided to make my move, but quietly. I didn't go home. After that meeting, I didn't go home. I went straight to Mr. Evans, an old lawyer, my age, a serious guy, tough as nails. I sat down in front of him. I was shaking. I put the gifting contract on his desk. "George, what is this? You look pale." I told him. I told him everything. The dead weight, the meeting, the contempt. Rick, Lucy. He read the paper. His face darkened. He took off his glasses, cleaned them. "George, they're trying to declare you incompetent while you're still alive." The word was a punch to the gut. Incompetent. That was it. They want to take everything from you and give you a pittance so you don't bother them. I nodded. "What do I do, Evans?" He was direct. "First, let's see what's yours. Really yours." I called my accountant, right in front of him. "Mr. Martins, good morning. Pull everything. I want the company ready for an audit or a sale for yesterday." Evans asked me for the fund statements, the condo documents. I had everything. Because tired George is organized. And then Evans said the phrase, George, isn't there a big chain out of Chicago that's always wanted to buy your client list, your logistics here in Denver? I knew who he meant. They had sounded me out years ago. I said yes. Call them, George. Call them now. See if the offer still stands. I wasn't going to read their contract. I was going to act. And that was it. I didn't go back to the company. I didn't go back home. I got a hotel room. I spent 3 days on the phone, on the street, in meetings. On Wednesday, I was in Evan's office with the guys from Chicago. On Thursday, we were signing. I negotiated. They always wanted my logistics in Denver, my clients. I had a strong name in the market. I sold everything. The business license, the trucks, the inventory, the building, which was mine. I sold it for $2.2 million, a fair price. Quick. The money was in my account by Friday. And then I waited. On Monday, I didn't go to the company, obviously. I was at my lawyer's office signing the divorce papers, 10:15 in the morning. My cell phone rang. It was Rick. I answered, and I have never heard my son sound like that. He was screaming, uncontrolled. Dad, what did you do? What did you do? I stayed quiet. Dad, there are people here from such and such. They're inside. They're saying they bought the company, I said calmly. And they did, Rick. What do you mean? What about me? I'm the manager. You couldn't. The lawyer said. I cut him off. Rick, I could. The company was mine, 100%. And the new owner. He said he no longer requires your services. He told me you were fired. The line went silent. I heard him, breathing, gasping. Dad, my salary, I said. That's between you and them, the new HR. And I hung up. It didn't even take 5 minutes. Amanda, crying, hysterically. Dad, what happened? Rick called me. Such and such is here. They fired me. Dad, my salary. How am I going to live? How am I going to pay my rent? And the car? I said, Amanda, you're going to have to get a job, a real one. And I hung up. Lucy was the last one. She didn't call. She came to the house that soon wouldn't be ours anymore. I had already called the realtor, asked her to appraise it for sale. I was in my bedroom packing a bag, a small bag. She walked in without knocking. George! Her face was a mix of anger and panic. George, you couldn't have done this. Have you gone crazy? I kept folding a shirt. No, Lucy, I've gone sane. And our children's future, George. You've destroyed their future. Then I stopped. I looked at her. Lucy, I took care of their future. I paid for college. I paid for their study abroad. I gave them cars. I gave Amanda the down payment for her apartment. Their future has arrived. Now they're going to have to build their own. My future starts now, she tried to argue. But the company, it was family. No, Lucy, the company was mine. And the family was trying to take it from me. You were right there with them. She started to cry, but it wasn't a cry of sadness. It was a cry of defeat, of someone whose plan had failed. And us, George? What about us? 36 years. I sat on the bed. That's right, Lucy. 36 years. And the one time I truly needed you, in that conference room, you looked away. You chose them. You chose the trip to Sicily, and I was the dead weight that had to get out of the way. She tried to deny it, that it wasn't like that, but it was, and we both knew it. That's when I said it. I filed for divorce, Lucy. Her crying stopped, instantly. What? I filed for divorce this morning. Mr. Evans will be calling you. She turned pale. You can't. I have rights. Yes, you do, I said. You have the right to half of this house, the house that is in my name, and that's fair. You were my partner for many years, even if the last 10 were cold. You will get your share. She tried to speak, but there was nothing left to say. I closed the bag, walked past her and left. There was no turning back. It was over, and that's how it settled. In the divorce, like I said, Lucy got half the main house. The house sold quickly. She got $750,000. Fair. I don't hold a grudge against her. I hold disappointment. But it's her share. She'll be able to take that trip to Sicily alone, I guess. The money from the company sale, 2.2 mits, plus my fund, 650K. I'm fine, the condo is mine. I got free. I didn't lose the company. I got rid of a burden they created themselves. Rick and Amanda, well, they don't speak to me. They say I disinherited them, that I was cruel. Rick, I heard he tried to get a job with the competition. Nobody wanted him. He has a reputation for being arrogant, a big spender. The new owner of the company told them what he saw there. He's living in a much simpler rental now. Amanda is the one who calls the most. She still tries, sometimes. And the conversation is always the same. Dad, I need money. Dad, the rent is late. Dad, the credit card. And me, what did I do? Today, I live in Georgetown, in that little condo my mother left me. It's small. Of course it is. It has 1 bedroom and a living room. But the window looks out onto an old church. The air is clean. I wake up early. I have my coffee at the bakery on the square. The owner already knows me. Good morning, Mr. George. Nobody calls me dead weight. Nobody is rushing me to my grave. I walk. I read my books. I manage my money, which now is growing. I'm at peace. A peace I haven't felt in decades. I pay for my grandson's health insurance, Leo's. I insist on it. And I pay for his school, that's it. The rest, Amanda can figure it out. Last week, she called me. I was already preparing my no speech. But she didn't ask for money. She was crying softly. Dad, Leo, he misses you. I stayed quiet, and she passed the phone, and I heard his little voice. Grandpa, I said. Hey, champ. And he said, Grandpa, I miss my hero. And then I broke down. I cried, right there, alone, looking at the church. It was the first time in a long time. It wasn't from anger. It wasn't from sadness. It was relief. You understand? I didn't get revenge. What I did was survival. We spend our whole lives building things for our family, and that's right. But take it from me, at the end of the day, you have to save 1 brick, a single brick, to build your own roof, because one day you might need it. And that's it. Simple as that. Thanks for listening. Leave your comment. What would you have done in my place? And subscribe to the channel. There are a lot of good stories here. Until next time.